either excited about it or missed it, but then when the whole thing started to deteriorate, it's like you don't hear about it anymore. But when you have a quantitative system, you don't forget. And once again, this is a very, very interesting play because it talks about some of the tricks and the difficulty of the stock market. Look at this move right here. There was a real legitimate buyer here. And look, instantly the same day, I mean, met one hell of a wall and reversed. But look, here again, it's building this little base, and you don't really need to worry about that anymore because now you're here and your risk is just below 4. So DGLY is definitely something with immense potential energy, and you ought to be making sure that it stays on your radar. Okay. Let's go to United Steel. This is another one that, number one, big company, you know what they do, much less risky in that sense, but commodities have been getting annihilated. But here again, what you want to see is a little bit more of a base, but, again, we can't predict exactly what's going to happen. So because of that, this is definitely one that I would keep on my radar because of this particular move right here. So, okay, Scott, why don't you pop in real quick? We're right at the halfway point. And a completely new chain, a new evolution and generation of investing. Okay, we are going away from just manually looking at charts and trying to discern if this is good or if this is bad. Although I'm doing this for you guys right now, remember all of this has been pre-selected and pre-set up by our artificial intelligence engine, and that's the real differentiator between trade ideas and the trade stations, the FinVizzes, the stock fetchers, and everybody else out there. We've realized that we as investors, I mean, there's no amount, you see if you follow social media, if you're on StockTwits, there's this $ study tag. You can search it on Twitter. And it has good intention. People are saying, do your homework, do your homework, do your homework. But there's a big problem with that, and that is, A, how do you do it, and how do you not suffer the fate of John Henry, the story of John Henry versus the coal machine? A human just cannot process the kind of data that exists today in the market. It's that simple. Now, there's a bunch of screeners, like I said, I mean, FinViz, StockFetcher, you have people doing good screens. But then what? What do you do with that screen? How do you know when it's time? That's where we come in. That's right here, Holly, the Trade Ideas Artificial Intelligence Engine. We are the only service in the United States of the world, just made that up, that not only gives you this data, the charts and everything else, but puts us on the line by suggesting what is the most quantitatively sound statistical strategy. In essence, Holly is like your card counting beautiful lady sitting next to you at the blackjack table telling you what to do, and it's up to you to decide if you're going to listen to her or not. So that's the real big shift in what's happening right now in the markets. We're moving away from manual Twitter, Wall Street, Journal, Investors Business Daily type of analysis, which is again a little bit caveman-y, and we're leapfrogging all of that and jumping right into artificial intelligence, and Trade Ideas is the only game in town for that. So, okay, let me now, I'm going to put in another window real quick. Again, my goal here is simple. I want to showcase the tech. A lot of you are not necessarily subscribers, which is fine. And for those of you who are, I want to give you an opportunity to see things that maybe you have not seen before. So again, we have another window that's a little bit different. I'm going to move this one. So this is called the small cap positive money lubricant factor. Now this one is really kind of not necessarily specifically looking for bottoms, although I think all of these, you will see it that way. It's like a bottoming pattern. But this is more of the smaller cap plays, and these things really can go. Like this efficiency number, okay. So let's take a look. This is what happens when your efficiency really starts to go. These are the unusuals, the hidden gems, okay? And this is, again, all the scaffolding of what our AI uses to show you how to trade the sound way every single day. So these are, again, the moves that are unexpected, not followed by anyone else, and yet are the most interesting. So let's look at ARCX. I mean, what you would be looking here, it's pretty simple. You want to, if there is a pullback, and by the way, sometimes there aren't. So, you know, do not necessarily think that this thing is going to pull back. There could be some serious news that really starts driving this stock in a different way, although it had failed before. So again, lots of lessons, but look at the potential. That's kind of what we look at. And the potential is very, very high if the trend change really takes place. And nobody can predict the future. We just card count to react to it better than anyone else in the world. So let's look at the next one, ELOS. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Well, here's the big picture. You're seeing the 12, 13 price point, and here's where we are right now. And once I zoom out, you can kind of see, notice the void. This is called filling the void. Like this right here would have been a great play. And what's kind of nice about it is it started filling and had 2 days where you could still back into it. I mean, nothing uber easy, but really trying to, you know, get itself out of this position and move higher. And ultimately, again, when you look at these charts, you'll be able to set an alarm for, let's say, 849, which would be an intense potential run if it got to that point. Next one. Let me zoom out. Okay, you know, another perfect example of why you watch it every day and you see what's going on and you look at the potential. This is, when you see this kind of volatility, something's going on, okay? This is, you know, there's some heat in here. Right? That's why it's called High Power International. Something is happening, okay? And especially when you have a float of just 8 million shares, immense amount of potential energy. Our custom relative volume fields tell us that these stocks are being traded much more than normal, 3 times, 32% more than, or 2 and 2.3 times more. So everything here is in action mode right now. Again, with this one, it's something that I'm saying, just you have to, like, you know, jot down the symbols, keep an eye on it, simply that. Now, here's another one. Let's zoom out. I mean, this is a little bit of a low volume play because, I mean, only 40,000 shares, but everything you've been told about that stuff, that I need volume. I mean, I hear this all the time. You, with your 200 and 300 shares, you don't need that much volume. Remember that. Okay, and I'm not saying that to make fun of anybody. I do the same thing. I mean, it's been something that was brainwashed to us, you know, since we got into the market. Oh, if your stock doesn't have volume, don't trade it. Again, yes, if you're a hedge fund that's moving, you know, $10 million, you should not be trading this company unless you're buying it out. But if you're an individual investor and you want to pop in 2, 3, 4, 5, 1,000 shares, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, look at, in fact, you've kind of got a fairly low risk profile here. But this is a very, very nice basing situation. And you can see these candles, so something, you know, again, I'm here to show you things that might pay for your subscription. Keep an eye on this. Let's see. Now, one that I really, really got interested in, because obviously here, I mean, you're talking about politics and you're talking about the environment, and look at the intense volume. I mean, I don't believe there's any bottoming action here whatsoever. You know, Smith & Wesson is breaking out, okay? And because there's an actual political catalyst here, you will probably see this stock continuing higher after the pullback. So definitely, I'm going to say definitely one more time, definitely watch Smith & Wesson, SWHC. I mean, everything in this window, whether you believe in what they're doing or not, it doesn't matter. They can pay for trade ideas for you. Okay, so let's see, what's another one that I know was on my mind? So I think, let me see, yeah, the home builders. You know, on Lowe's, the reason that this is here is because, again, the float is small, relatively speaking, and it's trading enough of a percentage of it. So see, notice every stock here is trading a relatively significant percentage of the float. That's what this window does, and that's why we call it float on. This means that a lot of turnover is happening. That means that something is in flux. And for traders, for investors, for engaged market participants, this is a key area where we should be looking at, so that, again, there's less resistance. The smaller the float, the more efficiency, the less resistance for you, the individual investor. And again, tons of different names, tons of different industries, similar pattern. We're trading the patterns and the quantitative setups. We're not trading the names or the industry or the news. Okay, let me expand the list a little bit more. And another name that I really love, that I gotta, tell you that, again, it's filling the void, is Solar City. This looks to be acquired on any kind of pullback. I mean, what you really want to watch is this area right here. I mean, something was going on here, 31, and there's some volatility, but a move higher, you're talking about a big run. Okay, and the AI has been talking about this. I'm pretty sure Solar City was a previous Trade Ideas Trade of the Week. Again, I don't always remember exactly every single one, but this is a great example of something that, kind of like Smith & Wesson, it's gotten annihilated. I mean, look at this. From here, from 79, and this is, again, buy and hold, or rather, how about this, 88. From 88 to 35, and we're just in the beginning of the renewable energy business. I mean, this is just starting. So keep an eye on this. Again, very similar conceptually to the Smith & Wesson concept. Let's see here. Yeah, all the energy names, I mean, such a difficult, it's never easy to pick pure bottoms, but look, they're all setting up kind of the same way. They're trying. That's why it's important to look at these names, and even more important to have access to trade ideas so you can be looking at this list. Another one that I've pointed out to people several times is Second Sight. So this is probably going to be, I would say, either my second or third most important name for you to just jot down, simply because there's, it's like a slope on a mountain, okay? The slope on a mountain, there's a lot of different slopes for a lot of different skill levels. You've got the professionals who are jumping off of cliffs, and you've got the moms and the kids or the inexperienced dads on the bunny hills. Well, this is kind of like what I would say is a nice groomed blue, and here's why. I mean, you just really risk profile for this, okay? Where you're going to be getting out of it somewhere around just under 5 if it really starts to go there, and it could. But the idea is if it starts to trade higher, I mean, it's already proven itself to go all the way to 630 to 3 days ago. So look for this one to go. It really wants it. And again, look at the trend. I mean, the potential for this trend change lubricant to take place is enormous. All right, I've given you a lot of names. I mean, so much opportunity to make money, and this is why you're here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer any and all of your questions. Okay, let's see. Steve, we got you on the email. We'll hook you up with the windows. With these opportunities, what are the typical entry and exit rule strategies for short-term swing trades? Steve, it's really hard to say because, again, everyone's trading is completely relative to their account size and their risk tolerance. So there isn't, in fact, maybe the answer to you is there isn't a typical and there's no such thing. Every investor, every person has their own fingerprint. Now, for me personally, if you're talking about myself, I would want to be seeing a move higher, kind of similar to this. I'm anticipating, like if I was trading this, I'll give you the Dan Merkin CEO trade here. Okay, if it starts to trade higher, I would get into this anywhere around this level with a stop just like at 5. So anywhere here, if there's momentum, not if it's doing nothing, but if it starts to go on a little bit of volume, maybe a higher bar than this, I'm looking for a day like this. That's how I treat it. But again, for me, that's what I'm able to stomach and what I'm able to do with my account size and things of that nature. Are there any other questions? Okay, well, let's finish it up early. We've been going for almost an hour. Scott's going to show you a way, guys, where we're basically going to give you the most powerful technology in the market for free, in essence. Scott, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I was on mute. I didn't fall asleep.
Oh, Dick's asking about stops. Oh, sorry. Well, let me answer Dick's question real quick. Stops. Okay, Dick, great question. So Trade Ideas is, again, really, really good at helping you. Notice this column. It's called the Smart Stop. Nobody else has this.
Right.
Every single stock, every single time you see it, there is a smart stop for you that tells you quantitatively how much you should or should not risk. It's that simple. And it constantly updates based on the price. So this is a moving, adjusting. It's not a trailing. It's a quantitative smart stop. So if you were getting into eyes, the quantitative day stop is 25 cents. URBN, and by the way, that takes in volatility. So interesting how for EYES it's 25 and URBN it's 30 cents. So again, there's a lot of AI and quant stuff that's being built in here. NHTC would be 69 cents. So stops are given for you, and that's something else nobody else gives you. You instantly have that feedback. There's no, Trade Ideas has no gray areas. When you get into a trade using our technology, you know exactly what's to do. Dick, these are numbers and they adjust. I'm not sure what you mean by hard stops or visual. You can, I mean, you can visually, you don't have to follow it. That's why I'm saying these, you can certainly, like if you have, you know, you can certainly say if you're playing this longer term, let's say you're buying, just hypothetically speaking, you buy this here and you can say visually, you know, I'm going to be getting out, like, I don't need to have the low of the candle, but like 44.58. That's like a swing trade. You know, that's like you're giving it the range. You're saying, I'm going to let it stay in this range. I'm going to get in. If it goes below the range, I'm out. That's kind of like the visuals. But these smart stops are all quantitative, and they all live all throughout the day. Like blue, $1.41 because of the volatility. You know, you don't want to be randomly missing a move that then goes up to 200 because you set a stop at 30 cents. Trade Ideas will prevent you from making those deadly quantitative opportunity cost mistakes. And by the way, this thing looks very interesting. So I'm going to leave you guys on blue and its immense potential. And we really hope you use this technology because, again, this is the future. And the future is now. Scott?
Fantastic. Can you put it on, yeah, that slide. So something we like to do to thank everyone for coming is give you a real way to get into Trade Ideas and save some money. That code that you see highlighted, QAWEB, all capitals with the number 9 at the end, use that before the end of business on Friday and you can take over half off your first month. So you can try the first month of Trade Ideas for just 47 bucks. It takes 26 months off your first year, so get the first year for just $657, and then it renews at $888, and you're grandfathered in at the $888 rate forever, as long as the subscription's active, even if we raise the rate to, you know, $1,000 a year next year. The Odds Maker, you can get that for just $737 lifetime. It's 33% off your lifetime Odds Maker license with that code. Remember, it ends at Friday, December 11th. And if you actually look at your GoToWebinar interface in front of you and click on the panel that says Handouts, there's a PDF there that you can download that has this information as well, with the code and the links. But the real gem here is the next slide. And that's a way for you almost to get the AI for free, basically. If you can go to the next slide there, Dan. It's our combination package, and it lets you get both the odds maker and a full year of AI for just $12.88. So you get the full year of AI for $8.88, and that renews at $8.88. But for the extra $300, I mean, for just the extra overage over $8.88 to $12.88, you are saving $700 immediately on getting the AI and the odds maker together. So you get the full year of trade ideas, the lifetime AI, and the hour of training, and access to all of our webinars. You can come to the trading room, everything, and you can go to that code, the URL there, bit.ly/SAVE700. That's just a short code to take you to the page where you can click through to get the combination at the same time. And this is a great way for people who are on our monthly plan to upgrade into getting the AI. Because now that you're on the monthly plan, you already understand that Trade Ideas is a fantastic tool. You've seen everything that Dan's shown you today, and those of you that have been using it for a while and participating in the trading room understand the power of it and probably want the AI. So this is your chance to get it for $700 in savings. We're going to retire this package sometime in January when we release version 4 as a production version rather than a beta version, which it currently is. So because it's beta, we're able to offer it to you for a huge savings, and you get everything, and then you're grandfathered in at the $8.88 price, no matter what we do with the annual rate going into next year. So if you have any questions at all, just email us at info@trade-ideas.com. You can go to the next slide there, Dan, with the contact info just to show everyone. So email us if you have any questions. You can even reach Dan directly, dan@trade-ideas.com. I know we've mentioned it before, but if you saw any of the windows that Dan was using, like the lubricant window, just email info@trade-ideas.com to request it, and we'll hook you up with that right away. You can follow us on Facebook. We sometimes post some things there that we don't post elsewhere. That's Trade Ideas Pro on Facebook. Follow Dan on Twitter. He's Trade Ideas 1, and we also have @Trade Ideas. Thanks everyone for attending. Dan, great presentation. You guys will get a follow-up email with this information as well. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, guys. Good night.